Hello everyone, back to you in today's first video, doing European outlook for today's first video. So, as also Friday, we're going to have a detailed look at weather coming week across Europe. And it is a hot scene across many parts of Europe right now. And it can be staying hot as well in the coming few days. So I'll talk you through all of the heatwave latest for Europe in a moment. Just to say that coming up later on today, we're going to have GWV Friday, that's a month-end look at, as well as on a Friday. And then we've got the 10 to 14-day video update coming up later on this afternoon. That will have all the latest in terms of how hot it's getting out there through the course of this afternoon. So busy old day at GavsWeatherVids today, and I hope you find the videos interesting and informative as always. So just say these European outlooks are YouTube exclusives. We don't embed these to GavsWeatherVids.com. So if you want to be notified when we are releasing these videos, then you have to subscribe to the GavsWeather YouTube channel and click all notifications, and maybe notified by YouTube when we release these videos on a Friday. Okay then, so let's get on with it. I'm going to start off with the synoptic setup across Europe right now. So right now we are being dominated by high pressure. High pressure is sitting up across the northern parts of Europe, and this is pulling up very hot air from the south, particularly through western, southwestern parts of Europe. There's a trough of low pressure into the southeastern part of the Mediterranean, and so it's a little bit cooler, a little bit more showery through there. This trough just here, but essentially most parts of Europe being dominated by that large ridge sitting across the north of Europe. This is how the upper air temperatures are looking. So it's very warm across northern parts of Europe, but we come further south and we run into even hotter air then to the west and southwest of the ridge. So really intense heat surging through North Africa and pushing northwards in towards Spain and Portugal as well. And then that surging northwards through France and now moving into southern parts of the United Kingdom as well. It's a little bit cooler across Ireland and in the southeastern part of the Mediterranean. So for southern Italy down to southeast Med, it's a little bit cooler through there, but of course still very, very warm, given that it is high summer in the Mediterranean. Right then, so here's how the precipitation is looking today. So heavy showers across southern parts of Italy and going over in towards northern parts of Greece, and also extending up towards the Balkans as well to some degree. A few showers across sort of Baltic Sea areas and moving in towards the far northeast of Europe and western Russia, but most parts of Scandinavia dry and about large ridge of high pressure. I mean, it's more or less dry through the western side of Europe, although there is some showery rain across Ireland and parts of Scotland too. Look at those temperatures. It is intensely hot across most parts of western Europe right now. So southern parts of France, for example, are going to be going up to around 38 to 40 degrees. Gets even hotter than that, potentially going down to Spain, possibly 41, 42 degrees through inland parts of Spain. Incredibly hot. And this heat extends northward, so many parts of northern France are going to be seeing temperatures like 35, 36, 37, 38, and those high temperatures extend into the far southeast of England as well. Could be up to around 35 or 36 down there this afternoon. Extending over towards central and eastern parts of Europe, it's hot also. Temperatures widely into the 30s Celsius. So yes, a very, very hot scene across most parts of Europe today. That's how things are looking tomorrow. So high pressure dominating again across most parts of Europe tomorrow, and still with very hot air across much of northern and western Europe as well. Upper air temperatures looking like that. So again, it's a little bit cooler for the Republic of Ireland and for Scotland. So a little bit cooler, a little bit more fresher and more comfortable there. But go further southwards through England and Wales, I mean down particularly into France, Spain, Portugal, through the Low Countries over to Germany. Very, very hot once again with those upper air temperatures. Well, warm to very warm across Scandinavia. Much of Eastern Europe looking hot as well. So Europe is really, really roasting this weekend. Loads of dry weather with all of this high pressure too. Some heavy rain coming into Norway from off the Norwegian Sea. And also some heavy showers across parts of Greece. And again, extending into southeast part of Europe towards Black Sea. Southern shores of the Black Sea. But that apart, generally, except for a few rogue showers and thunderstorms scattered about, triggered by the heat, it is generally a dry scene tomorrow across the vast, vast majority of Europe. And very, very hot once again, especially through France, Spain, Portugal, temperatures widely into the upper 20s to around low 40s Celsius. Incredibly hot again in the west of the southwest of Europe. That heat just about clinging on across southern parts of England as well, although it is cooler Scotland, Northern Ireland. Temperatures there much more comfortable down into the low 20 Celsius. Then we extend over through northern and eastern parts of Europe, and we keep those temperatures upper 20s to low to mid 30 Celsius widely across Europe. Incredibly hot through the course of tomorrow. That's Sunday, and again high pressure dominates across northern parts of Europe. Winds are in from the east and from the southeast. It looks very hot across most areas. Perhaps pressure just weakening a little bit over France might suggest a few more thunderstorms coming through. Again, the upper air temperatures look very, very hot through most parts of Europe, especially, again, through France, Spain and Portugal, also extending into the Low Countries and also into western and southern parts of Germany as well. Maybe not quite as warm for central and northern parts of Norway and Sweden. So what showers there are mainly in the north and the east of Europe on Sunday in this northeastern corner. Some of them could be heavy and thundery. You want to extend it down the eastern side of Europe as well. Back further westwards though, through those central western parts of Europe, it's mainly dry. Perhaps one or two storms kicking off over France. And perhaps a rogue storm somewhere across England and Wales too. Temperatures on Sunday are looking hot again, particularly through those western, southwestern parts of Europe. This is proper heat wave stuff for the west of Europe. So widely again, temperatures low to mid to upper 30 Celsius, with particularly inland parts of Spain going up to the low 40 Celsius. Central and eastern parts of Europe, again, temperatures there are hot, going to be into the low 30 Celsius, but not quite as intense as it is in the west and in the southwest of Europe. Monday could start to see just a little bit of a weakening of pressure across the west of Europe. Generally, again, might suggest increasing risk of thundery outbreaks developing. High pressure is dominating still across Scandinavia. It still looks pretty hot with those upper air temperatures again through most parts of Europe. In fact, heat is possibly starting to surge northwards into more parts of the UK, possibly extending over towards northern Germany, Denmark maybe, coming into heatwave conditions by the early part of next week too. Central northern parts of Scandinavia look a little bit cooler through there, and it's a hot scene again through the vast majority of Mediterranean, particularly hot again through most inland parts of Spain, intensely hot. There could be some thunderstorms starting to break out from France and moving into northern and eastern parts of the UK on Monday. Heavy showers and thunderstorms also over on the eastern side of Europe. But that said, again, the emphasis is still really on a lot of dry weather from Scandinavia through much of Germany, the Low Countries, many parts of France and down Spain and Portugal, except for rogue thunderstorms. Again, the emphasis is on dry but also very, very hot weather. Look at those temperatures again on Monday. Widely mid to upper 30 Celsius across most western parts of Europe. And again, inland parts of Spain, perhaps southern parts of France could be into the low 40 Celsius. 40 degrees is 104 to 105 Fahrenheit. That just gives you an idea of how incredibly and intensely hot it is over the coming days in the far west and southwest of Europe. It's a little bit cooler again across Scandinavia, and Scotland and Ireland again continuing to look quite a bit cooler through there. We get through into Tuesday, and again, it's a hot scene across most parts of Europe. This is a proper heat wave that's going to go on for several days across many parts of Europe. We are beginning to try and drift some colder air in off the Atlantic into the extreme northwest. So through either the UK, we're trying to cool things down a little bit, and that might involve some heavy showers and some thunderstorms too. The ridge continues to dominate across Scandinavia, and this is continuing to allow those hot southerly winds to extend up across most parts of Europe. So you see that by Tuesday, things are just ever so slightly cooler across parts of the UK, although the extreme southeast of England is still just about holding on to that heat. But generally, Ireland and the UK, a little bit cooler. Scandinavia also turning it a little bit cooler through there, despite being under a ridge of high pressure. But essentially, most other parts of Europe, south of the ridge, so Scandinavia, looking very hot. And again, particularly through France, into the Low Countries, Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, some parts of Germany, and down Spain and Portugal, intensely hot through there. And this heat extending to more eastern and southeastern parts of the country as well, those upper air temperatures. Again, my suggestion is for thunderstorms, perhaps through France, through parts of northern France into the Low Countries, possibly affecting Denmark, also into parts of the UK as well. There could be some storms kicking off through the course of the Tuesday. Then a lot of dry weather from Scandinavia extending down through Germany, except for the east of Germany, where a few thunderstorms possible there. A lot of dry weather extending down through the western part of Europe and down Spain and Portugal as well. Further heavy showers and thunderstorms over on the eastern side of Europe. Temperatures are looking very, very hot again on Tuesday through most parts of Europe again, particularly through France, Spain and Portugal, where we're into the upper 30s Celsius to possibly 40s degrees in those inland parts of Spain. Again, most areas are going to be sort of mid to upper 30s across the Mediterranean. It is a little bit cooler out in the northwest. Perhaps temperatures begin to lower for the UK. We might see temperatures begin to edge back towards the upper 20 Celsius, but still very warm, of course. That's Wednesday, so by Wednesday the ridge is beginning to reorganise itself out to west, and slightly cooler airs coming around the top of the ridge in towards this northwestern part of Europe. The heat looks like it's beginning to drift further eastwards into some central and eastern parts of Europe. There's the upper air temperatures. They're still looking hot across most parts of Europe, but perhaps beginning to drift a little bit further into more central areas. Across Scandinavia, temperatures there are not as hot, but still pretty warm actually, and maybe the heat be trying to come back actually into the far southeast of England again on Wednesday. Heavy showers and thunderstorms again could be developing across parts of western and northern France. They might start to impact parts of Ireland and the UK as well through the middle part of next week. A few showers and thunderstorms around Italy and going over towards Austria, Hungary, those sort of areas, and maybe extending down through the Balkans too. Some showery rain for Denmark and for Norway, and then many parts of Scandinavia look dry, and that dry weather extends back into Baltic Sea areas. It's very warm to hot again through most parts of Europe, with temperatures mid to upper 30s Celsius, particularly through France, into the Low Countries and into Germany once more. And then we go through into Thursday. This is Thursday next week, and again it looks very warm with high pressure dominating across much of northern Europe, very warm to hot. Those hottest upper air temperatures again possibly just easing a little bit further eastwards into some central parts of Europe. The far northeast looks a little bit cooler through there into west of Russia. Scandinavia is becoming warmer again, and possibly cooling down a little bit across parts of Ireland and the UK. In fact, the heat never really gets to the Republic of Ireland. So that's how precipitation looks. Again, could be some heavy showers and thunderstorms through parts of particularly England and Wales, possibly Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, and also northern parts of France as well. Maybe a few storms kicking off across other parts of France also, particularly again as we go over towards the Alps. There could be some big thunderstorms through there. Showery bursts of rain through Scandinavia. Many of those east and northeast parts of Europe looking mainly dry, and much of the med is looking dry too. The peak of the heat could just be easing ever so slightly by Thursday, but even so, temperatures are still widely through Germany, the Low Countries, France, Spain, Portugal, still widely into the mid to upper 30 Celsius. It is possibly starting to turn a little bit cooler through parts of the UK, Ireland, and in Scandinavia too, with that heat drifting perhaps more over towards the eastern side of Europe. I mean, I'll just run you through up to day 10. This is Friday next week. Again, it looks very hot through many western parts of Europe and central Europe too. But out in the northwest, possibly building this ridge in off the Atlantic, and there could be some slightly cooler air associated with that. Moving up towards day 10, which gets us to Sunday the 16th of August, we see that in the northwest, again, high pressure dominates, pressure coming very slack across those central areas, so more heavy showers and thunderstorms possibly breaking out, and the heat, with time, is possibly drifting over towards the eastern side of Europe as things start to turn just a little bit cooler, perhaps, out in the north and in the west too. That's how the upper air temperatures look by Sunday the 16th of August. So you see the general idea is perhaps a little bit cooler, a little bit less intense with the heat in the northwest, but at the same time those eastern parts of Europe could be turning hotter as the heat drifts more over towards the east side, and through the Med and down Spain and Portugal it still looks very hot through there. Okay, so it's a hot scene for most parts of Europe. Heat wave conditions, particularly in the west of Europe, in the coming days, and yeah, these are going to be dangerous conditions. So if anybody's watching from the west of Europe, particularly through Spain and France, those sort of areas, then take care in the coming days, because it is going to be intensely hot, dangerously hot And yeah, it's going to be a really hot week coming up. Right, I'm going to be back later on with GMA Friday. I'll have a 10 to 14 day video update for all the regular features. We'll bring you up to date with how hot it's getting in southern and southeastern parts of the UK, and I'll be with you this afternoon. If you have enjoyed this video, please give us a like. Let us know in the comments what you think. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back very soon with more European outlooks. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.